Welcome, everybody, to the American Space Museum. I'm Mark Marquette. So glad you're with us to stay curious. Going to be an interesting show. I'm going to ask my guest to lower me on the camera. Put my head below stay curious there. And that person, there we go, Mitch Rothman. Good there, Mitch. Mitch, come over here and join me, and we're going to hit our electronic devices here. I'm not seeing us going live yet there. So welcome, Mitch.
Welcome.
Mitch Rothman here in the studios of the American Space Museum in downtown Titusville.
I'm showing us live.
And you're showing us live. And we're going up there and not showing us live here. Marty is en route to he's en route to Long Island. And I don't see where we're live on there yet. So let's make sure we're live on there. I don't see it on my.
I'm seeing it on mine, and I'm seeing my message. I see Mark
Okay.
Bell and
Mark
Tom
Bell's there.
Usiak. So
All
I
right.
think we did
Hello, everybody. Okay, out there today. Are we coming through loud and clear? Make sure that someone says our audio's good.
Give us an audio check,
And,
please.
Anyway, we got Mitch Rothman on here. Man Space is his Facebook page. I don't know why I'm not going live here, so I'm going to go.
I got Tom Celentano telling us we're loud and clear.
Good. Hey, Tom. Good
Thank
that
you.
he joins us up there. Marty will be waving at you as he's going up to Long Island. Well, I guess he won't be. I think Tom's up in Connecticut or up there. All right, let's go this way and subscribe. And there we are. Just took a while to get on my smart tablet here.
Yeah, I wasn't a lunar module electrical technician, so I'm not as sharp as Marty is.
Yeah. Hello there, Tommy Usiak. We were just talking about you at lunch. It all started with Tom Usiak, our relationship with you, Chris Callie, his brother Mark, just a great group of people that we've really interestingly bonded so quickly, don't you think, Mitch?
Yes. Yeah, you met Chris through Tom. I met you through Chris, and the beat goes on.
Let's see where the beat goes on. And let's see where move away from me just a little bit there. Not that you don't smell good. There, to see all that up there. Because we're going to have a charity auction Saturday. But first I get into that. Mitch, tell everybody that's new to Stay Curious a little bit about yourself. What kind of space geek are you? And we're going to talk about several of your projects. We're going to talk about the documentary, The Astronaut and the Artist. It's actually The Artist and the Astronaut. And we're going to talk about Mitch's quest to make July 20th a national federal holiday to celebrate Moon Day, the landing of Apollo 11. Mitch, where'd you grow up? How'd you get into the space?
I think I got into it the same way a lot of us did. It was just something that captivated my imagination as a young kid. And I started reading about it and just fell in love with the what I love about it is the sort of the adventure of manned space travel. The idea of going to the moon was something that, like so many people, captured my imagination. And that's how I got into it. And then I sort of parlayed that interest, and I spent my career as a trial lawyer, so developed a lot of research skills over the year, and combined my research skills with my love of the space program, and created Manned Space Media, which is a social media space where we have NASA Manned Space on Facebook. And Manned Space, our YouTube channel. And in both places, we celebrate what I call the golden age of the American manned space program: Mercury, Gemini, Apollo, Skylab, and Apollo Soyuz.
The golden age. That's what we love, us baby boomers particularly, because we lived through it there. Looking at some of my comments, Tom Celentano says the headline might be yesterday's. Well, it is yesterday's if he's reading it. So that's a little faux pas we did. And Robert Law can hear us all the way in Scotland, Mitch. So,
yes.
Hey, Robert.
Hey,
you
Robert.
got to meet Robert
I
on
did.
the shuttle fed.
Yes, I did. It was a pleasure meeting Robert. Full of information and interesting to speak with, for sure.
Bob Slater says, nice beard, Mitch.
All right, so Bob is
Bromance
actually
going on here.
He's spearheading He's
Yes.
spearheading the Lunar Landing Day holiday effort, but we'll talk more about that. But
Yeah.
he's out in California.
Well, we look forward to meeting you someday, Bob Slater, here in on the Space Coast. Hello to Julie Clay. She says, "Good to see you, Mitch." And she was one of our volunteers
I met Julie for
and
the
helped
first
out
time.
at Shuttle
Right.
Fest. Connie McDaniel's probably watching. She's been volunteering, running around the museum today. And Doug Forrest in California. You said hi to Doug.
Yes, good to see Doug.
Elena at Kahara in South Africa. Hello there, young lady. Steve Jokums, loud and clear. Steve, I sent you a book yesterday, but I'm not sure I sent the right book because well, you'll get it and you'll let me know. I know it's he got the Don Thomas's book, Orbit and Discovery, and I'm pretty sure the one I sent you is autographed, but if not, we'll straighten that out. So, you know, I've had a blast the last 5 years on Stay Curious. We've really branded the museum in many ways. Some of you with Stay Curious 5 years ago, over 1,270 episodes. Marty is in a car driving down up Interstate 95, trying to talk me through how to do it with his Google. We were on live, him show me what to do on there. And you're one that found Stay Curious, and I love your comment that you said that you look forward to it every afternoon as just sort of a break from the day. I think it's content that no one else is doing, but also you don't have to pay attention to the visuals. You know, we'll just do this on this side of the visuals here and look at you. But, so tell us a little bit about what Stay Curious
So
means to your. I mean, I'm so flattered that so many people now, at least 50 people a week, chime in on us and really enjoy the content.
well, I think it's also you're sort of connecting with people each day that you might not otherwise connect with from all over the world, space friends. Um, but for me, my afternoon is space time, right? I do a lot of my posting that you'll see tomorrow morning is usually done about this hour. And I have Stay Curious on. Stay Curious, even though we focus on the what I call, as I say, the golden age, it's nice to be up to date on what's going on today because people, they know you're into the space stuff and they're going to ask you about what's going on today. And so
Your friends on the street, your friends in life, they know that you're
exactly.
a space geek,
And they wanted, so for instance, my niece, who's graduating from UF next week, sent me a text wanting to know my opinion on whether Katy Perry and them was that, the first all female crew. And I had to recount to her that somebody asked Eileen Collins a similar question during Shuttle Fest. And her response was, it doesn't count. And so, anyway.
she doesn't elaborate. She just said, no, they're not astronauts.
That's right. She
Period.
didn't elaborate.
And I don't want to go any further than that.
But to be tied in this case, I didn't hear it on Stay Curious, but I got it through the American Space Museum while I was attending Shuttle Fest. So it's a rich source of information. I come here every day. It's a way to catch up on what's going on and stay in connected with space news.
Well, you've influenced our producers here to put more current events in it there because you have commented. I didn't know what was going on, how many people were in space. Now we're down to 10 from 13 because the Takonauts came back, 3 of them today. So we got 7 on the International Space Station, 3 on the Chinese space station.
I only know what a Takonauts is because I've watched Stay Curious.
Good. I mean, and this is not about me. I mean, I'm heavily involved in all aspects of the museum, but I'm always aware of the fact that we're about making this museum accessible, making space accessible, as the fact that this is the birthplace of the American space age. It's not in Vandenberg. It's not in Houston. It's not in the Beltsville, Maryland. is here in Brevard County, Florida, and the people are so proud of that. But no, you have influenced some of the content of the show, because I kind of felt like, well, everybody's looking at space.com and Collect Space. There's another place that Robert Perlman's excellent website, Collect Space.
Familiar with it for
but
sure.
then when I found you and what you were doing, I just love it. He gives a lot of background information on history of Mercury, Gemini, Apollo, all through ASTP that we're going to be celebrating 50 years on. So, again, I'm not asking about flattering me, but
I won't.
we have so many great guests. I mean, the monthly guests of Nick Thomas, Terry White, Steve Agid. Okay, we're going to have Bob Burnett Granath on and talk about Hangar S.
Yeah.
Okay, the legendary Hangar S, where the Mercury astronauts first trained, with the chimpanzees and the other end of it.
Well, if I can just make this observation, not only is Stay Curious a source for today's news, but because of the guests that you have, there's, I love the old-timey stuff, and oftentimes there'll be guests that were Apollo era space workers who are going to tell stories you're not going to hear anywhere else. And so for a lot of us space geeks, we're always looking for that kernel of information that we've never heard before, and you can routinely find that here on Stay Curious.
Thank you. Particularly happy with yesterday's show. Go back and reprise it. Did you know there was a combination lock put on the hatch of the space shuttle?
I now know it since I heard it yesterday, and that was quite a story. I had never heard that.
I can't wait to have Terry on here.
Yeah, if you didn't see yesterday's show, you got to go back and take a look at it. That was really interesting. I had no idea such a thing had happened.
Yeah,
and I'm going to leave it at that. To tease the show.
STS-51B was 40 years ago, and one of the astronauts on there may have freaked out a little bit. And when some of the astronauts woke up it was a 2-shift space lab. They had a 12-hour shift. And when the one crew wake up from their sleep, there's duct tape all over the hatch.
Crazy.
But go check that out and stay curious, folks, on there. So, but Mitch, thank you so much. You're going to see how he contributes to our museum here, but how he just likes the fact that we're providing a place for everybody that loves the shuttle, the Apollo, space in general, could just hang out and get to know each other. And what is life more about than getting to know other people that like things like you do? People fish together, people go to sports together, people go to car racing together. One day, Steve Jokums, we're going to go to Miami because the Formula One race is down there this weekend, and it'll take me 4 or 5 years to save up for it. So, anyway, let's look at a couple pretty pictures here. Yes, we are having the charity auction Saturday. Okay, let me see if I can do it this way. Charity auction number 37, Saturday, May 3rd. Chuck Jeffrey will be pounding the gavel on over 400 lots. Rich, you've surveyed some of them. What do you think?
Well, and I've participated over the years in the auctions, and every year the items get more and more interesting. I know, for instance, you got the Apollo insurance cover. We were talking about that over lunch. One of the Apollo 11 insurance covers will be up for auction. Yep. So
got it right here on the. Let me go up here with that. Right there's the insurance cover on the bottom left.
Silver Snoopy.
Tell people what insurance covers were.
So back in the day during the Apollo era, the astronauts couldn't get life insurance because of the high risk work that they were doing. And
pretty smart underwriters, I think.
Well, that's true, right?
Having been one before.
So in an effort to make arrangements, if you will, financial arrangements for their families in the event of not returning from a space mission. They had signed all these first day covers that generally, well, they reflected the launch date of the mission, and each crew member would sign it, and they were there in the event families needed to sell them to support themselves in the event of an
That's
astronaut's death. So
Get them by a year or so.
interesting history.
Tom Celentano just said such a nice thing, Tom. He said, "Stay curious is almost like a social event for space enthusiasts."
That's right. Yes, it is.
That's really. Thank you so much. That means a lot.
I know Tom Celentano, though we've never met, through Stay Curious, and then he became a member of Man Space, my Facebook group. And so we're sort of routinely in communication. We haven't met live yet, but Shuttle Fest 5 is on the horizon.
That's right. We picked the dates.
That's right.
April 24th, 25th, and 26th will be Shuttle Fest 5 at the Cocoa Beach Hilton. And I'm signing a contract for that next week. And we had to push it back off of Easter, is the first Sunday of April. And then the second Saturday weekend is an air show at Cocoa Beach. And you can't compete with that. Though the hotel might have people in it. You ain't going to find a place to park during that 2-day air show. And then the hotel had something the following week. So we have to take the last week of April, but we're going to do it. So hope to see you there, Tom Celentano. We got a little note from your financial advisor. She says Mitch loves those auctions.
Well, Mitch used to love them.
Hello, Paula. Hi there.
I've decided that I would rather, and this is the truth. I like a lot of us who collect. You run. I mean, how much more stuff can I have? I have no place to put it. I have an office with 14-foot ceilings, wall to ceiling. I mean, floor to ceiling, covered in stuff, and showcases full of things. I thought I'd rather than participating in the auction, I can better help the museum in the way we did, for instance, with Shuttle Fest.
Well, thank you.
So I've sort of redirected my space budget, if you will.
And we're so grateful for that. Mitch, like so many of you now, we're contributing regularly to our nonprofit to things that are going to make a difference. Mitch is going to raise money through Man Space and his other affiliations to help us renovate our much needed gift shop there. In fact, we're rebranding it as a space memorabilia store and gift shop, as we're going to be putting more things in that, not our collection, things that we have mundane, everyday items out there, like press kits of the shuttle flights that we've got hundreds of and stuff like that.
So if people want to participate in that, is that something they can do through your website?
Yes, actually, we are going to get the website up as a store, but we have some stuff on eBay.
Well, what I mean actually is if people want to participate in the refurbishing of the...
If you want to give us money.
That's the question.
Okay, get to the point, counselor. If you want to give us money, and yes, PayPal on our Facebook page, up at the top on our YouTube channel, our website, American Space Museum. Up at the top is a yellow button that you can contribute. You can contribute today or after the show. There's a button with a $sign on it that you give to YouTube. They take a pretty healthy cut. All right, PayPal takes a cut, but not as much as YouTube. But YouTube's doing us a great service, and you want a button put in one bucket for Stay Curious or Shuttle Fest or our STEAM education or whatever, let us know, just like Dave Stangy has contributed money. Hi, Dave. And we're going to make sure that money goes towards some new equipment here. And many of you, including Steve Jokums, are willing to help us buy things that we need if we have specific needs.
Right.
And we're happy to give you a tax-exempt form for your taxes and so forth on that. But Mitch and Paula, we thank you for your monthly now contribution. They're budgeted in their household to make this part of their giving. And we know many of you out there have tax brackets that you do need to give. And for example, I know somebody that says I have to give $15,000 a year to charities to be in a certain tax bracket, and you're the lucky ones where it's going to go. And
Very nice.
I'm not of big financial means like that to have that problem, but you certainly know people like that, and we all do. So thank you so much. The auction is important. You can bid now, and if you bid on something, let's say we're going to go. Here are these upper left are 3 passes, VIP passes to the Apollo 11 launch, and those go for sometimes $200 a piece. And so getting those all for $200 or $300 or $400. But if you said, well, I'll give $300 for all those, and the bidding goes up to $250, well, you're going to get them for the next level, $275, and sold to you. But we've got Kapton foil, we've got space flown items, rare photographs there. We've got a lot of stamp signed by crews. This is, people don't lick a stamp and put it on an envelope much anymore. But it certainly was a popular thing, the first day covers. And these are crew signed up at the top. And then we got some items from the great Bob Seek, the legend who has mentored me here at our museum on our board. Love you, Bob, for what you do to the community and personally for me. Bob Seek launched 57 shuttles, but he was so important as behind the scenes manager. He shaped how the shuttle program was going to be run after Columbia, along with Jay Honeycutt, Bob Lang, a couple other NASA greats out there. And that's his Columbia manual of everything written that was about the reconstruction of it. His reference manual to STS-107 when it was launched. That's what that is. His reference manual to experiments and stuff on there. Could go for a big number. He wrote that on his stuff there. So check it out. You can, and if you don't, little light in the wallet right now because maybe the IRS took a big chunk out of your butt, you can watch for free.
Well,
and
yeah.
it's an education too.
Indeed.
When you watch this thing, you're going, "Really? I didn't know there was a thing like that out there."
So I have a question.
Sure.
Is it possible to be in the museum while the auction is? I mean, is it conducted here?
No, it's not. Good question. We used to do it live, like the first 10 or 15 were here at the museum. In fact, they were all here at the museum in the beginning, except virtually. They did do them. And then COVID came, and we tried to do it a couple after that, and we just got 2 or 3 people, and it wasn't worth it to set up everything here. When Chuck now has an office in downtown Orlando. He has his bid again. Auctions building is on Colonial Drive in Orlando. I've been there. Chuck has done a great job getting into the memory. He's made the museum's auction one of the top 5 in the world. Yeah. R&R Auctions is one of the premier ones. And I'm
Heritage.
Heritage, yeah, Heritage is the other big one. We're in the top 5, and the value we get is up there with these big auction houses that do the biggie stuff like Neil Armstrong's artifacts and so forth like that. So hope that you can watch it, participate Friday. I'll be doing all wall-to-wall auction on there. Well, space history is it kind of looks like a CSI thing there where they're looking over a dead body, but nope. Those are the Mercury astronauts in 1959 looking at the molds they were going to make or had made of their bodies for their seat in that Mercury capsule. And that is Mr. Gilruth right there. That was the, I believe he was over the Manned Spacecraft Center in Houston, that later become known as the Johnson Space Center. But there you got 2, 4, yeah, there's 8 people there. I was going, well, who's the 9th person there? So it looks like you got Shepard and Glenn on the bottom, and Wally Schirra, and Carpenter, and Gordo, and Deke and Gus there. And, I always wondered, these guys hated probably to get in that suit and tie. I mean, they were test pilots, man. They didn't want to walk around in a suit and tie like that.
And they used to call it, right. They would be in the barrel, right? Have you heard this?
No.
So they, as they started adding more astronauts, more public appearances, and then there were usually a couple of guys a week that was selected each week to be in the barrel. They were the ones that would have to put the clothes on like that,
Like a fish
and
in the barrel
go eat the creamed chicken and peas,
right.
Luncheons with, across the country. They called it being in the barrel, and so, yeah. I'm sure they'd rather be.
We love pictures like this. And this is the type of thing you'll see on Mitch's Manned Space. On there, he's got a beautiful little iconic. There's your patch. We gave you all one of these at the Shuttle Fest, okay? And join Mitch's. He does it. How many you have on your Facebook?
Almost 18,000.
Okay, and I haven't even looked at mine in a long time. We're about around 12 and a half, something like that. And we're happy with what we do because it's outreach for a lot of our local people too on there. And Mark Thale says, yes, the week in the barrel. And so they had to be a little bit uncomfortable and had to have gone to a clothing store probably with their wives to buy stuff like that.
Right.
Well, let's segue to some more space history here that Mitch is very involved with. And this is the let me go right there. There we go. The Artist and the Astronaut, and it is a DVD. Jerry Carr, his second wife,
Pat Music, right,
and a film done by this guy in the middle, Bill Minch, who I met today. Bill paid a quick visit to the museum. I say he looks like James Taylor there a little bit there. He's a good-looking guy. And anyway,
tall
James
guy.
Taylor's all bald now, but there we are in our shuttle console there. Tell us about Bill and who really, he's a Vermonter.
Yes. So first, let me thank you for allowing us to show the film during Shuttle Fest.
It's a big hit.
Yeah, it was. We had a good turnout.
In the room.
We had a good turnout, and we were joined by Zoom that night. Bill couldn't be here; he was hoping to be here that weekend, but Bill joined us along with Pat Music and Jeff Carr, Jerry Carr's son, who's also in the film, joined us. As did space historian Andy Chaikin, who is neighbors of Bill.
Oh, I didn't know Andy was on there, so he got a little taste of Shuttle Fest.
Yeah, Andy was in there. In fact,
wrote the great books on the Apollos.
What, a Man on the Moon?
Yeah.
Of course, the definitive book on Apollo, as far as I'm concerned. Certainly most comprehensive coverage.
I got a well-worn paperback.
Yeah,
over there.
We probably all do.
The whole spine is just peeled back.
Yeah, so. And it was fun having Andy there. Andy is also in the film. So I got to know Bill through the social media space. He asked me if I would take a look at this film and talked about helping me to promote it for him. Where my next target is San Diego Air and Space Museum. I'll be out there at the end of May and hope to convince them to allow us to do a screening there of the film. We've taken it to the Stafford Museum in Weatherford, Oklahoma. Here we were to show it in Tulsa. Something went sideways there. I'm not sure why or what, but that's a different story.
Two-timed in Tulsa.
Yeah.
Well, we offer it here at the American Space Museum, thanks to Mitch and Bill Minch here in this picture. They gave us a bunch of copies to make a 100% profit on. If you want one, you can personal message me, and we'll charge you the $20 and $10 shipping.
So you have it in the store for $25 for the DVD. It's $20 for the CD because the CD is the original score that was written for the film. Bill likes to tell the story that he wanted to use a riff from the Birds to every season turn.
Yeah, yeah.
So 18 seconds was some amazing six-figure number
Oh my God,
to use in
really?
the film. And for that money, he thought, well, he's got a very close friend who's a renowned composer.
Yeah, send him a case of beer and he'll do it for
and
me, right?
and Todd Hoban, who I've met, great guy, wrote the original score to the film, so that's also available. And so, Dave Stange, to answer your question that you posted on NASA Manned Space this afternoon, you won't be able to get the film on the DVD, rather, from this museum's website. But if you contact Mark, he'll figure out a way to collect your money and get that to you.
And believe you me, we've got stuff to sell everybody that you'd like to have. Some you'd like to have a Shuttlefest T-shirt. We had a few left over, and it's just people power, getting things done. We're a very small staff, frankly, 4 paid employees, and we've got another really 5 very loyal volunteers. Marty Winkle, you're one of those, of course. So's just had Dan McCune in here, the crane operator. Connie McDaniel, spending a lot of her time and personal money on there, and new people showing up all the time. As we like this to be a social event for you all to show up here. So Cliff Watson just joined us, and Robert Mecklenburg in Holland. And Connie McDaniel's finally chimed in saying hi, Mitch and Mark. So you were around the museum. So yes, let me give a quick take on the movie. Being a baby boomer, I relived a lot of the angst of the civil rights movement in the Vietnam War, because that is what Pat Music was all about, and her artwork. When Jerry Carr was an astronaut and training for the moon on maybe Apollo 18 or 19 or 20, and then segued to the rookie commander of the last Skylab, Skylab 3 if you're a PR person, Skylab 4 if you're an engineer. And if you don't know that story, stay curious. We'll tell it a few more times this year. But really a great friend of the museum. Bill Minch was surprised to see we had Jerry Carr's fit check helmet autographed by him, just a plastic bubble, and his Skylab clothes he wore in space there. And Bill, there he is there. He has given the permission to the museum to show the movie any way we want, make money off the movie if we want, and he also says, I'm going to dig through some artifacts that Jerry personally gave me, right, and see that they end up here at the museum. And
yeah, Bill and Jerry were friends long before the film, and that's one of the reasons why Bill got involved in this project, was the friendship that he had developed with Jerry and Pat.
Well, part of, also, I don't know Jeff Carr, but I certainly have heard a lot about him. He's a Johnson Space Center public affairs officer over the years, and heard a lot of good things about you, Jeff, here on the Space Coast, and looking forward to maybe doing a remote interview with you some point in time here. So anything else you'd like to add about the...
Well, the only thing I'll add about the film is, if you're a space buff, it's got great, never before seen interviews with some of the legends of the program,
including Alan Bean.
Alan Bean,
before he died, just months before he died.
He actually died while the film was being made, and so his death is covered in the film. He was close personal friends with Jerry and Pat both. Pat Music and Alan Bean shared their art in common, which was something that created their friendship. There's probably the last interview with Frank Borman is in that film. Bill got time with Gene Kranz. Of course, lots of interviews with Ed Gibson, who flew the Skylab 3/4 mission.
Where'd they live? Up in Vermont?
Vermont.
Okay.
Yeah.
And What kind of an artist was she, you might ask? Well, she was a very eclectic outdoor artist, okay? Very pioneering for the time. She was doing outdoor sculptures that were quite avant-garde, wouldn't you say?
Well, they were avant-garde. They were, I would call them almost the sort of public park type
Yeah, inspirational
structures.
pieces and
That,
comments on the civil rights movement in the Vietnam War,
right, among other things.
women's rights.
She and how Jerry was able to be involved in the artwork was because of the nature of her art, using large types of media, boulders, metal, all kinds of large.
Stuff that needed cranes sometimes to
Right.
put out.
And so Jerry, every time he says in the film, every time Pat had a new idea for art, I wanted to know how much it would weigh
Yeah, I
because
remember that.
he's the one that was doing the
Yeah.
engineering
How much
for
would it?
the artwork. So this is the engineer's question, I guess. How much does it weigh? So that's how he was involved with the art. They did the art together. A lot of the
Yeah.
art they did together.
Well, you'll enjoy it. A unique look at an astronaut's life after an astronaut life. And yet, Jerry was a good. I saw him out at Kennedy Space Center about a year before he died. He was in the regular queue out there, one of the last
Yep.
Apollo guys to come out there, as was Al Warden,
Yeah.
one of Al Warden's last public
It's
appearances.
actually in his biography that was written by David Shaler. The Shaler mentioned in
Yeah,
the
no,
book.
David Shaler's being on the book here with
Yeah.
Mikey Haddad's book and
Yeah.
others.
I met David. When I was in the UK this summer or last fall, because I was getting ready to do this screening at the Stafford of the film, and I
Mhm.
thought I really would love to meet his biographer. So I was there and had a
Nice.
chance to spend several hours with him.
There's a bucket list destination for you. The Tom Stafford Museum in his hometown, Weatherford, Oklahoma, about 50 miles west on I-10 from Oklahoma City, which also has a fabulous science museum in downtown there. Uh, anyway, Donna Martinez says, "Hi, Mitch and Mark. Great to see you both. Thanks for joining the party, Donna."
It's my
Oh,
sister-in-law.
oh, is it?
Yeah.
All
Hey,
right.
Donna.
Okay. Uh, well, let's talk. Let's let Mitch talk about something that's dear to his heart here, and your good friend. Where'd that go? There we are. There we are. Your buddy who's pioneering this.
Dr. Bob
with you.
Slater
All right.
and his wife Mary Allen. I met Bob
You you've been to Congress twice with Bob Slater.
Yes.
Talked to senators and congressmen about making the Apollo 11 moon landing date of July 20th a federal holiday. How's that going?
So there's always something happening. Bob keeps us very well in the loop. He sent me a text or an email earlier this week, concerned that there is an attempt on Capitol Hill to create a new federal holiday. It just wasn't the one that we were hoping for. It's going to be, there's a congresswoman from New York who's talking about introducing legislation to create a national holiday to celebrate Donald Trump's birthday. So it's the problem as we see it is there's not a big appetite up there right now to create holidays. And if we're having to compete now because somebody came up with an idea and now it's going to compete with that little slice that we had. So that's where, these are the things we certainly didn't anticipate that something like that might happen as we navigate this. But
what I say.
there,
President's Day, after all.
oh,
They combined George Washington and Lincoln's birthday that was separate when I was a kid.
yeah, and it's unusual.
But that's politics.
I just thought it was unusual that we would have a holiday for a guy that's still alive.
Yeah.
Usually we're remembering people's birthdays because they're gone. But in any event, so the last time we were up there, there are people that are really excited about it and those that are equally not really excited about it. In fact, I brought this picture here. So if you or someone you know is from Wyoming, please contact your delegation. That's the Wyoming delegation. And so this is on the far side is Senator Barrasso. That's Bob next to the senator, and then Lloyd Franklin was with us. Myself, that's Mary Allen, that's Bob's wife, and also his partner in this pursuit. That's the other senator from Wyoming named Loomis, and then Congresswoman Hagman. They were not terribly receptive. So if you know somebody, please, and you're interested in supporting this, by all means, send a letter. If you need a go-by, let me know. You can send me an email at manspace1@gmail.com. I'll send you a form that you can send to your elected officials to support the effort.
There's Bob Slater's email and phone number there
as well.
And we're partnered with them here at the American Space Museum, and you also picked up another a recent important partner.
Yes, and that congratulations to Bob. So we're trying, one of the things that we are trying to do is promote museums as a way of people. So the idea is you celebrate Lunar Landing Day on July 20th. The kids are out of school anyway, right? So it's not that it's going to disrupt school if there's a national holiday. The notion that it's going to cost the federal government anything is a myth, right? I mean, it's an accounting tool. They're paying these people whether it's a holiday or not. So when they tell us, when they tell us that it's going to cost them, I think it's like 80 million or 100 million. It's got to be like 80. I can't remember. Mary knows the number. When they tell us it's going to cost that amount, that's not true. It's not going to cost that amount because it's not. That is already baked into the pie. These aren't people. Most of these people are salaried employees.
Right, yeah.
So.
Well, there's a government level, this, that, and the other that they get pay grades.
That's right, and they're being paid regardless. They get paid holidays. So so it's really a productivity issue more than it is an out-of-pocket issue.
Who's your new partner?
So the San Diego Air and Space Museum. Oh. So we'll actually be going out there at the end of May, and for you space fanatics out there, if you're May 31st, if you're not going to the ASF event, I think tickets are still
Scholarship Foundation Hall of Fame is that weekend.
That's right. It's that weekend. San Diego Air and Space Museum is hosting an Apollo event celebrating the Apollo program. I will be there, as will my wife Paula, Bob and Mary. Lloyd Franklin will be joining us. Umberto, who you met here at Shuttle Fest, will be there.
Yeah. Lloyd Franklin, good to see you. He needs to watch Stay Curious more. I don't see his name pop up.
Lloyd spends a lot of time as a docent at the museum, the Spy Museum.
Yeah.
There. So I think he may be
at the Washington Spy Museum.
Yeah. So I think his time is overlapping with Stay Curious. Having San Diego on board is exciting. Having
Sally Ride's hometown.
San Diego Air and Space Museum is home to Apollo 9.
Is it? Okay.
I get confused if it's 7 or 9.
Called the Gumdrop.
Gumdrop is in San Diego. I'm waiting to hear back from the director of the Stafford, who I've met before and was involved with when we did the screening of the film there.
New director, he just took over from Max Airy,
right?
Who's a long
Colton
architect of the Cosmosphere, and then
Colton Parkerson is the new director.
I'd love to partner with them too. I love that museum. Been there many times. The worst thing that could happen, Mitch, is that at least a greater awareness of this. Science museums and space museums, including ours, always want to do something around that date. It's July 20th is a Sunday this year. We're going to do something combined with that and the 50th anniversary of Apollo-Soyuz that was launched on July 16th, 1965, or 75, I mean. Right. 50th anniversary of Americans and Russians shaking hands in space, something that we don't do on Earth, where there's borders and there's no borders on the space station, blah, blah, blah. Worst thing that can happen is we celebrate like Mother's Day or Father's Day. We keep a greater awareness and have more events to honor man's greatest adventure.
Well, so we actually, Bob, before I got involved, Bob had been successful in having a resolution that passed through Congress declaring May 5th as National Space Day in recognition of Alan Shepard's flight.
Not recognition of the taco or burrito.
I don't what.
Cinco de Mayo.
Oh no,
May 6th, May 5th.
That's
Cinco
right.
Cinco de Mayo.
Okay. Yeah. No, I don't think that was in there.
Yeah, that Shepherd is May 5th.
Well, and anyway, I'm just thinking of how famously they did who was the Bill Dana, the comic back in the day, Jose Jimenez.
Yes, Jose Jimenez.
Yeah. So maybe that's why they did it on May 5th.
Yeah.
You
gotta go way back there. There was a Hispanic comedian named Jose Jimenez.
No. The comedian was Bill Dana, who did
Bill Dana, yeah,
the
right.
character
of
Bill
Dana,
the astronaut, Jose Jimenez.
He was the reluctant astronaut.
That's right.
And was on Ed Sullivan all the time. The astronauts loved him.
Right.
Like, he made a parody of the danger of being in space and stuff like that, and really drew some good positive attention in there. Of course, you all notice in our green screen here, the peninsula of Florida, right there we are as we speak. Boy, we need some rain clouds too, I'll tell you that right now. So beautiful. You live about down in there in Lake Wales.
Yeah, a little further north. Yeah, but for that far in.
Yeah, in there. So, well, we hope and we support you. And Bob Slater, thank you for what you're doing for this. I feel it's very important. I mean, I wanted all 6 landing dates to be, should be recognized. And we just ended with Apollo 16.
That's right.
Its 53rd anniversary of being on the moon in 1973. And
72.
72, yeah. And then we're going to have Apollo 17 in December. And then we've never been any further in 53 years than 250 miles above the Earth on a permanent basis. That SpaceX crew went 850 miles up with Jared Isaacman. But still, that's when you even say that, it pales in comparison to the 250,000 mile round trip voyage to the moon and back in there. So good luck with that. We're wholeheartedly behind it, and you'll be hearing more about National Moon Day. Should be International Moon Day on there. So
that's right.
Well, we've had a nice conversation here, some 50 minutes or so, on our social hour here on Stay Curious with you all. Squeezables. No,
Squeebles.
Squeebles says
Squeebles, my nieces.
And Shirley Newman, loving the broadcast. Mark, it's so informative, and I can't wait to see the movie. Thank you so much, Shirley, there. We're glad that new people are finding us every day. Tell people to like, share, hit the heart button, whatever, to get us more numbers. We're making $30 a month on YouTube, but
not easy
for the guests and the content and so forth. We know space geeks are a narrow segment of community. There's 100 times more people into bass fishing probably than there are the rockets that fly around. But so we're all grateful for y'all being there. So I hope you've scanned the code. What is that sign, the petition?
So that sign, that is actually here at the museum. That sign is a large poster. Yes. There'll be one in San Diego with.
So I scan that with my QR code. What's that going to do? That
will take you to a website where you literally can sign a petition. We're gathering names, so it's a multi-pronged effort, right? This is just an effort to be able to bring. We have a book that gets bigger and bigger each time people come out and support it. Their name is added to the list, and then when we go to these various offices in Washington. We have materials that we bring, and among the things that is in there is the list of all these people. Advocacy is about moving masses, and so this is that type of political advocacy.
So you got it. You got it there, Steve Jokums. He just signed myself. He did. Thank you,
Thank you.
Steve, so
Thank
much
you.
there. So, all right, we're going to end the program here with a little bit of fun, looking back at Shuttle Fest. Mitch Rothman is certainly my guest today. And oh shoot, I didn't do that. I didn't put your name up there much. No, there's Tom. I guess
Go to P.
I was going to P.
Maybe you should go to M.
T M. There's Tom Usiak. Sorry, don't have your name up there.
All right.
There's that up there. Well, Marty, sorry I didn't put Mitch's name on the bottom. We did somehow. There's Tom, and we got the layers messed up. So happy birthday! I'm learning all kinds of things here that Marty does. Hope you bought a coin. If you didn't, we got plenty. And again, that's something we should probably sell. Tim Gagnon's beautiful art piece there. We call that the Shield. And I think I got something out of whack here, but that's okay. There is the launch of Apollo 16 to tease you a little bit. Chris Calley, his masterpiece of art there. With a lot of little hidden things in there, including him. I think he's right in here somewhere holding Gordon Cooper's glove that his dad did a sketch of there. And of course, that's Charlie Duke on the left, the only surviving member of this crew. Only
one of four
moonwalkers, and I think there's 8 of 24 moon voyagers alive there. So Chris is right here. With man's best friend there, and that's a thorn between two roses, there, as we might like to say there. Don't know why you took that picture.
Well,
we
because
we had drug dogs sniffing the property there to make sure everybody had they were drug dogs. But
well, that is actually at the hotel during Shuttle Fest, and this lady, were these dogs at the museum earlier?
We had different dogs.
Were different
they
dogs
actually
here.
did a drug search in our museum with some German Shepherds and some other dogs as a test.
Yeah,
and,
sniffing around space things.
Yeah, it was more looking for fentanyl than it was marijuana, which is legal in the state of Florida.
I just saw this picture.
If you got a card for it, if you got a medical marijuana. But anyway, Chris, thank you again. The circle will never be unbroken, with all this friendship we got.
That's right.
Tommy Usiak introduced me to him.
And then another friend,
Larry McGlynn. Hello, Larry McGlynn, there in front of a $10,000 module there, and from 1962, and the Grumman big picture in the back with Buzz at the mirror. Thank you, Larry McGlynn, for finding us and enjoying Shuttle Fest. He was certainly, I just like seeing him with a big smile on his face.
So I'm hoping to get up to see Larry up. He lives up in the Boston area. A prolific collector of space
artifacts. Yes, he was part of a brief show called Space Dealers, but he is a plus collector. Very good friends with Gene Cernan. I know.
Yeah, wealth of knowledge.
He handled Gene Cernan's estate of things when he passed away. And Larry's awesome. He's in a documentary, 3 or 4 collectors in there, and he was just fascinating. There's Terry White and your friend Humberto.
Yeah,
there.
That's Shuttle Fest.
And you at Shuttle Fest. There's in the background there is Mikey.
Yeah,
I think he's talking to Zarella there.
Yeah.
Is that John Zarella?
Looks like it.
No, it's another gentleman. I forget his name there.
Yeah, but that was Friday night here at the museum, the first night of Shuttle Fest.
Epic.
Which was an incredible event.
We'll never have a night like that. 4 astronauts signing, a lot of people enjoying fellowship, and it was a night that we celebrated Joanne Morgan.
Right.
On there. So there's Lloyd Franklin and your wife there, Paula, and Bharat Ramanujam, and we've got
Ellen Runyon.
Ellen Runyon there. Ellen supplied us these swag bags with her artwork on it, like her inspired by Chris Calley. She did a Hubble thing there, and we gave coasters that she burned a laser to all the participants, and all of the astronauts left with a cutting board with their missions laser etched on there, as after all, astronauts are a cut above. So we gave them a cutting board.
And that's what it said.
And so you're gonna have to outdo yourself next year, Ellen, in there. So now there was
Another new friend of the
wonderful
museum.
character there, Danny. Danny's last name?
It's Jacques.
Jacques, yeah.
Yeah. Jaqques.
Danny has free dried products that we offer in the museum, from daiquiri mix to coffee, and it's all got space themed stuff. And here he was at the museum in this outfit there. There's Chris in the back. There's you. There's MarQ.
We're sampling the margarita mix, which was actually quite good. It had everything except tequila.
And there's you and Eileen Collins.
Yeah, after
what was your impression of Eileen? Had you met her?
I've met her before, and she's always very kind, always very patient, and always a pleasure to talk with. Hers is the first autograph on my shuttle model. I found that model in an antique store and brought it here to Shuttle Fest.
Oh, that's a good find.
To get autographs.
She and I and Jonathan Ward were the last ones to leave from that party. She loved this place. I mean, she's keeping me here. Jonathan's eyes are rolling in the back of his head, the author of her book,
right,
Through the Glass Ceiling, and Through the Glass Ceiling to the Stars, to be exact. And she just loves to talk and get to know you and what's going on, and she's so interesting. She reminds me a lot of like Charlie Walker, the astronaut. Charlie Walker's a great conversationalist. He's a Renaissance man and very well-rounded in a lot of things. And
one of the things that Eileen did that I just thought was so it just typifies her, was she had signed one of Chris's paintings for Umberto and didn't like the color of the ink and said, like the next day, come back, I want to re-sign that, and signed it with a different color. This concerned her.
Huh.
So anyway, I thought that was kind of neat.
She's got a beautiful signature.
That's
too.
The way she is.
She's and there is Joanne Morgan with your wife. I was so happy that we could do this for Joanne.
Amazing woman.
She didn't make any bones. She's 85 years old. This is the first woman in 4 management positions for NASA. 4 management positions. She was the first woman to do that. And when Nick Thomas introduced her, he said, one thing that everyone learns about Joanne Morgan is she's no hidden figure. All right. She stuck herself out there with the men. The only woman engineer in the firing room when Apollo 11 was launched, with over 300 men behind the console.
Yeah, and unfazed, completely unfazed by that.
Yeah, right. She was empowered by Rocco Petrone, George Page, and other NASA greats of management to do her job. That was the key. You're doing your job. Being a woman made no difference to
That's
some
right.
pioneering men back in the 1960s. So, Joanne, we love you. Enjoy Montana. Okay, and it was just epic what she does around here. She's from Titusville and spends her winters here and goes to Montana for stuff on there. So that's all we got for Shuttle Fest there. Like I said, we got Shuttle Fest 5 in the works as we look at ending our program with some space history that's dear to both of our hearts and our Facebook pages. This is again Chris Callie's rendition of Apollo 16 splashdown this week, 53 years ago. I think it was the 26th or 27th,
27th
of 1972. And what escapes the eye of the great John Young leaping there is he's 3 feet off the ground, maybe 4 even, as he jumped up.
He was giving his big Navy salute as Charlie encouraged.
That's right. And this was Not at the beginning of the mission because he's covered filthy with dirt, moon dirt, just at the end of it. So to remember this great moment in space history, thought we'd share with you Tom Usiak's photograph.
Very nice.
Of the Apollo 16 launch there. Then this is in J.L. Pickering and John Business.
Oh, yeah, okay.
In there. That is, he's beautifully restored that from last century there. The color and balance and everything's just beautiful there, Tom. And one thing that we love talking about is we have the handprints of Charlie Dukes out at our Space View Park. And let's see, we got Ronald Cotton, worked for Bendix Corporation, and a couple others. I can't read the other names too well there, but these are people who gave us $100, put their name up there. And the only place in the world you can put your hands on Charlie Dukes right there. And he is out there at age 89, be 90 in July, the youngest moonwalker of 4. So who are the other 3?
That are still alive?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, so it's it's Jack Schmidt.
Who's born in July. Yeah, he's born in July. Charlie's born in October.
He's born in 36. Harrison Schmidt's born in 35.
No, they're the same year.
Oh, were they?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure of that.
Okay. And then, of course, Dave Scott is still with us, and Buzz.
92, and Buzz is 96.
Charlie will be in San Diego this summer, along with, at the San Diego Air and Space Museum event that we're going to, that's an Apollo event, featuring Charlie, Fred Hayes, Rusty Schweikert, Jerry Griffin, Gene Kranz, and some others.
Wow. He's very good health, as are Kranz and Jerry Griffin there.
Jerry Griffin looks amazing.
So, you been to the U.S. rocket?
I haven't.
You ever been to Huntsville?
I have not.
We got to do a road trip. Man.
Yeah.
Next summer, we got to do a road trip. But it is one of the most beautiful displays you'll ever see of a spacecraft. This is Casper, the Apollo 16 command module in Huntsville, Alabama, at the U.S. Space Rocket Ranch. And they have, of course, the lunar module replica there, like we do here. Those aren't the real tires. I think this is one they used around the grounds for a while. But what is so gorgeous about this is they put Casper in like a jewel box, all right, and with a mirror below it and lights above it, and the parachute, part of the parachute behind it there. It's just stunning.
I may get out there after
Look
all.
at that.
I need to get out there.
Look at that.
Yeah.
Is that a way to display a spacecraft or what?
That is very cool.
There. And this man thinks so too, So what a great guy. My privilege to have met him several times. And many of you that like space probably have, because he's out there. And
yeah, he's out there a lot.
Harrison Schmidt is not so public. He's a great guy. I've been around Harrison Schmidt myself at the University of Tennessee, where he does a class in the geology department every semester, or in this winter semester. Friend of his, Larry. Larry was an expert in lunar soil, and at the University of Tennessee, I think it's Larry Clark. But not sure if Larry's even alive, and Jack's probably not doing that anymore. But 20 years ago, he was a professor. I met him. But Schmidt likes doing university tours and stuff like that, but he's not a big signer. Very humble. Of course, he was a senator from New Mexico also. That was an experience he said he'd rather forget. He told me.
Right.
He said,
I've heard that.
And he said the same thing that Jack
I think he only
Loudesman said to me when Jack ran for Senate from Michigan and lost. He said, well, I'm glad I lost because I figured out the only thing you do is raise money at dinners, night after night. You're going to a dinner to raise money.
Yeah.
And what a great picture of Charlie Duke there, and we hope you have many, many more years of great health. Probably see him at the Scholarship Foundation. He's a regular there in a month. And we'll end with this.
He won't be there because he's going to be in San Diego.
Oh, okay.
He'll be in San Diego for that event where I'm at.
Okay, all right.
Yeah, so he won't be here unless he comes in for one day. I don't know.
And Mother Earth. What a good way to end there. This is a photograph from Apollo 16 headed back to Earth. Its trajectory was more over the North Pole, whereas you've seen 17 had that classic picture of the South Pole sign there. And there's your look at your home away from home in Colorado there. Mitch and Paula live in Grand Junction, Colorado, some of the year there. And that looks like it's clear skies over that with the Baja Peninsula there, Florida right above my head there. And gorgeous photograph 53 years ago. The blue marble. What alien wouldn't be attracted to this planet? Okay. Like a magnet because we got all the water. So, Mitch, thank you so much. I really enjoyed talking to you for the last hour, and we spent the day together. You saw uh, our museum staff and volunteers in action, and again, tell people what your impression, what keeps you coming back to our museum.
The uniqueness. There's no way you will see anything in any other museum that's here because everything that's here is one of a kind. And so when people say, if I, I've been to the Kennedy Space Center, what am I going to see here that I didn't already see there? Everything.
Yeah.
The building is full of stuff. Of course, Bill Mensch was here with us today. It's the first time he's been in the museum. Blown away. What really blew him away was the Cape Canaveral Gallery and the work and the shuttle consoles and the work that Bruce Jacobs and those guys did to take what was essentially heading to the trash dump
Yeah.
and turned it into fully functional operational devices that are you'll see nowhere else but here.
Absolutely. We brag about it all the time. You're going to see things that you won't see anywhere else. And what always got me in the beginning was the proximity you were. There's a limited number of places that you can't sit down and be a foot away from some of these artifacts or walk by them. We are grateful that everybody, our guests, are very respect what they're looking at, and whether they know about space or not. I think they all leave with a bigger impression on America's space program.
Yes.
And for me, it's all about the people involved. We're not so much about the astronauts as we are about the space worker and the million or so space workers between shuttle and Apollo that did a unique job to improve our world like we have today. So, well, thank you for improving our world today.
Thank
on
you.
Stay
You're
Curious
welcome.
there, Mitch Rothman. Sorry I didn't get your name up there back and forth. Marty, you'll have to school me on that next time. But check Mitch out at to get to it directly on Facebook, NASA Manned Space, or you just put Manned Space and it'll come up there. Along with our American Space Museum Facebook page, we feel that we offer content and share things that are outside the mainstream a little bit there. So, Mitch, thank you so much. Can't wait to see you again. Paula, you same way. Maybe I'll get down and see you folks before you go off to Colorado. But I kind of like Colorado too.
Come
So.
on.
I've never seen gold like those aspens one fall.
Oh,
My
yeah.
God, it was just
Fall in Colorado can't be beat.
Yeah, it was unbelievable.
The other
So,
thing you may be able to see is Danny. He lives not far from where I am in Colorado.
yeah, we'll check out Danny's
Rocket Ranch.
and all his products there. So, thank you all for watching. Tomorrow we'll crank it up and do it again. Look at some space history. Talk about a few artifacts of our upcoming auction. Until then, I'm Mark Marquette, thanking you for watching and saying we can't wait to see you in our museum, like I do Mitch Rothman, to bridge the space between us. Thank you so much.
Right.
What did I do about the name? I forgot about it.
I think you guys got the photos and then just forgot to